Every engineer, 1 gram every day. 1 gram every day.
i.e., take 1 gram out of whatever you're working on.
Right.
Figure out how to take a gram
Right.
out of weight.
So at the beginning, they might have a kilo there. No problem. This will be. But you know what? After 4 or 5 months, it gets really tough. And what happens when the situation is really tough? People get really smart. Engineers, when they're backed into the corner, that's when the brain starts moving. It doesn't move if it's, oh, I'll just make one like that one. You're never going to get any, you're never going to get rocket ships to the moon when you say, just make one like that one. Well, that was good enough. I'm sure it'll be good enough now. As soon as you've got that attitude, you're going to lose.
And who's been losing for the past decade? These guys. If you want to win, you got to do things better than everybody else. All the OEM's trucks look the same, but does this truck? It doesn't, because Tesla has a CEO who backs his engineers into a corner. Look at this photo of Raptor engine iterations. Raptor 3 is 36% lighter than Raptor 1, but that doesn't happen overnight. It's about finding a way to take a gram off every day you come into work and letting those results compound over time.
HR at Tesla, there is none. There isn't any, because you don't want to, I don't want to have people competing to try and see who's going to get the best job. I want to produce product. I don't care about Charlie, who's got a Michigan ring and black hair and 6'7". I mean, I don't care about that stuff. I care about, can you put a car out on the road that's going to make us money.
Elon Musk talks a lot about the work culture at Tesla. He says everybody eats the same food, uses the same restroom. There's no executive chef or other ivory tower stuff. There shouldn't be this workers versus management two-class system because everybody is a worker, even Elon. There's things that he does that just get his engineers fired up. He personally inspects every station. He rewrites software by hand. He fires unaligned managers on site. He orders from suppliers at 3 a.m. One night, workers found him covered in grease, fixing a Model 3 that engineers had given up on. I mean, check out this video of Elon talking about it.
I was living in the factory in Fremont and the one in Nevada for 3 years straight. That was my primary residence. Not kidding, literally.
Did you keep the couch?
I actually slept in a couch at one point in a tent on the roof. And then, but for a while there, I was just sleeping under my desk, which is out in the open in the factory, and for an important reason. And it was damn uncomfortable sleeping on that floor. And always, when I woke up, I'd smell like metal dust.
We went to visit, and they bought him a new couch.
Yeah, but actually, I stopped using the couch because there's a little conference room and a couch there. I stopped using the couch, and I just slept on the floor under my desk, so during shift change, the entire team could see me. And that's important because, like, you know, the team, if they think the sort of their leader is off somewhere having a good time, you know, drinking Mai Tais on a tropical island, which I could definitely have been doing and would much have preferred to do. I'm not actually a masochist, I think. But the thing is that since the team could see me sleeping on the floor during shift change, with nothing, they knew I was there. And that made a huge difference. And then they gave it their all.
Elon's engineers worked so hard that these three guys on Autoline, who used to bash electric vehicles, are now sitting in a circle talking about Elon's Robotaxi event.
So Sandy, so you were at the We Robot event. Tell us about the event, and then we'll get into the products that were there.
I thought it was brilliant. I've never seen so much technology that works in one spot in my whole life. I read some of the reviews, and I wondered, where did these guys go? I mean, I don't understand it. What I saw and what some of the writers saw wasn't the same thing. I saw robots dancing. I used to design robots. I worked on robots from the very beginning, from what do you call it, Unimates. I mean, I know where they came from. I know how hard it is to do a lot of stuff. And here's these robots dancing and handing out gifts. I was totally blown away by that. RoboCab. I looked at that, and I found out what the price was, with no steering wheel, no brake pedals, no nothing in the car except for the driving. The driving, it can do it all by itself. Who's going to pass up? Who wants to learn how to drive? Who wants to go and get a driver's license when you can have one of these things? You buy it, you get in it, and tell it where to go. I mean, as soon as I looked at it, I didn't see Robotaxi. I saw Model 2. That's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. That's what I said too. In fact, what I said is, why not throw a steering wheel and some pedals in for
You
people
can.
who want that?
Yeah, and you can do that because it's just electric, a couple of wires basically, and a steering wheel. But at the end of the day, that's not what a lot of people saw. They had an image of what they wanted to see, and it wasn't there. And when they didn't see it, they had to throw it under the bus.
Well, lucky for them, there was a giant robo-bus on site for them to throw whatever they desired under. And look, these guys are old school, and I can tell that it's killing them that there wasn't a steering wheel in the Cybercab because it's a gorgeous little car. But remember, Elon's about taking off weight. He's looking to delete parts. And if he can get rid of the steering wheel and the brake pedals, he's going to. If it doesn't work and he has to add back in the steering wheel, well, he will. Because if you don't have to add things back, you probably didn't delete enough parts. But back to that Robobus. You're not going to add a steering wheel in that thing and manufacture it, are you? No, that Robobus is the biggest signal that FSD is truly going to happen ever. My prediction is that Tesla will never put a steering wheel in that Cybercab.
Speaking of buses,
Robovan or whatever they call it. I'm telling you what, that blew me completely away.
Totally
I am
agree.
a
Yeah,
huge fan
me too.
of.
I love the way it looks. Number one.
Exactly. Well, my house when I was single was 100% Art Deco. I'm really into that look, and when I saw that thing, I about peed my pants. I was hoping for a van, but that thing, that's blow away good. It's the best I've ever seen. And when I saw, they said that you can get 20 in there. I saw 14 people get out of that thing.
What they showed was a 20-person one, right? You could shrink that down. You could make that a 4-passenger version.
Exactly
of that thing.
right. Exactly.
No,
right.
I saw that and I flipped. Same thing. My reaction was, "Wow, there is the future."
okay.
Exactly.
So Sandy, so if somebody could look at that in either of them, okay, and say, well, isn't this in a sense mechanical vaporware? You said you saw a lot of technology there. I mean, what is the underlying technology for these vehicles?
Well, software is so you've got some really cool products, no question about it. But what makes them cool is the software that goes in it, and nobody writes software like Tesla does. Well, when you look at Tesla, the number of lines of code for Tesla, it's minuscule in comparison to.
No, I ran into some computer guys the other day, or software guys the other day, and they were like, "Don't brag about how many lines of code are in your car. You don't want to brag about. You want to brag about how few lines of code are in your car."
Exactly right, and that's where, again, the marketing of electric vehicles is so far off. It ain't even funny. You don't want to talk about. You want to say we can do this with 3 lines of code. Oh, and we can give you a circuit board that's like all on one chip. The way that people are marketing their stuff is completely wrong.
Here's an example of what Sandy's talking about. It's a Ford advertisement that I saw about a year ago, and I absolutely hated it. We didn't design an EV. No, you didn't. You just made something that looks like your other vehicles and put a battery in it. You need to design something from the ground up if you want to make an EV profitably. We made an animal with a supercomputer for a brain. Does Ford even have any AI infrastructure? I asked Grok, and Grok said that Ford did invest $1 billion in Argo AI, an AI company focused on developing self-driving technology, but then Ford decided to end its investment. And this move was part of a broader strategy to move away from autonomous vehicles and focus on advanced driver assistance systems. That doesn't exactly sound like a supercomputer for a brain. I suppose that's why this ad has been discontinued, because I couldn't find it on YouTube and I had to find it deep on Facebook. Anyways, when Sandy said that their marketing sucked, that ad came to mind.
Man, my guys think I'm kind of brutal. I am nothing compared to Elon. If you don't produce, he says, if a wood carver doesn't produce chips, he's not doing his job. You have to be allowed to try and take things on. And if you fail, I mean, Henry Ford used to say failing is the impetus to move on, only smarter. Well, we aren't doing that. Well, it's my job. I got a mortgage. I can't. I really can't. You can make that suggestion if you want, but it's my ass out there. It's your ass out there. No problem. But at the end of the day, if I see that kind of stuff with smaller companies, I immediately go straight to whoever's in charge and say, that guy will never help you out. He's too afraid to do anything, or actually he or she is too afraid to do anything. Get rid of them. They're nothing but an impediment. And sometimes when you get rid of that kind of a boat anchor, things move along a lot faster. Because in a lot of cases, it's middle. We call it the frozen middle at Munro. The frozen middle. They want to get up higher, but they don't want to have anybody crossing through them. And they don't want to make any mistakes because they know that just around the corner, they're going to get that VP role or something. That kind of mentality, that's the HR that I was talking about earlier. That'll kill your company every time. If people aren't willing to try things and make a mistake and put you into like a better financial position, it should be released.
Elon is so good at avoiding this mentality in his companies because he is the biggest risk taker of them all. He failed on 4 rocket launches in a row, learned so much from each one, and he was successful on the 5th one. He's not afraid to make mistakes and learn from them, and he encourages his engineers to behave the same way. That's why he says if you didn't delete too many parts, you didn't delete enough. I also think that Elon's reputation as someone who will fire you on the spot helps. Employees know that any day could be their last at Tesla, so why not go for it and try to make a difference? Elon fired 10% of the company this year. That's like 14,000 employees, and it saved Tesla $1 billion annually. So if you're not finding ways to save the company money, the company is going to save money and fire you. Tesla stock's about $350 today. It's pretty exciting. Super proud of all of us who have been hanging in there throughout these last couple of years, and I'll talk to you guys soon.